Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are at session 11, which discusses research proposal and research report. Having discussed how to cite the works of others and acknowledge those works through a bibliographic list, we move on to discuss the meaning of research proposal and its components. So this session focuses on how to write good research proposal. After completing this lesson, you should be able to do the following: explain what a research proposal is, describe the various components of a research proposal, write a good proposal, explain what a research proposal is. Okay, I've said that already. Then list the main components of a research proposal, describe how to write a research proposal, and then draft your own research report. So we may be concerned, or we will be concerned, with three main things: preparing research proposal, sections of a typical research proposal, and a general outline of a research report. Here are your usual references. Preparing a research proposal. Now, what is a research proposal? Newman says that it is a document that presents a plan for a project to reviewers for evaluation. A document that presents a plan for a project to reviewers for evaluation. And it has many purposes. First, it is to ensure that the research is well designed to meet the requirements of the discipline. Research proposal should clearly and concisely communicate what is to be studied, why it is being studied, and then how the research will be conducted. We have many uses for research proposal. One, for making public presentations and receiving feedbacks. Two, for obtaining official clearance or approval from an appropriate university authorities for the project to proceed. So if you are embarking on any research project, you need to write a research proposal and gain clearance from the institution before you can proceed with your research. It is also to enable you to apply for research grants. Let's look at a few outlines of a research proposal. All or most of the following are typical of a research proposal. First, you have the title or the topic, the introduction, background to the research problem, and then the actual statement of the research problem, the purpose of the study, why you are conducting the study, and then your objectives, your questions, or your hypothesis. And then also you have the methodology, the significance of the study, your theoretical or conceptual framework that guides the conduct of the study or that underpins the study, and then the limitations of the study, and then the organization of the chapters and your references. In this session, we provide you with an example of a typical research proposal. First, as we saw, you have the topic or the title. It must be concise and informative. It should capture the essence of what the project will be about and where it will be conducted. It is also sometimes useful to divide the statement of the topic into two parts. The first part can refer to the issue under investigation, and the second part can locate the study. Let us look at an example. Here are some examples of some topics. Absenteeism in the public sector, a case study of a hospital. You see, the statement is in two parts, or the topic is in two parts. The first part is saying absenteeism in the public sector. The second part is saying a case study of hospital workers. So the second part is actually situating where the research will be conducted. It's identifying where the research will be conducted. Job satisfaction among administrative staff at the University of Ghana. Well, this is just a single statement. It has no second part. Students' plagiarism at the University of Ghana. Industrialization, urbanization, and juvenile delinquency in Ghana. All these are, single statements which are not divided as the first one. Most of the topics can be stated at various levels of precision. For example, let's look at one of the topics, juvenile delinquency and the breakdown of family and religious values in the context of industrialization and urbanization in Tema, Ghana. Or juvenile delinquency in Ghana, the breakdown of family and religious values in the context of industrialization and urbanization in Ghana. In Tema, Ghana, in trying to craft your topics, you have to be very innovative and crafty as well. If any difficulties are encountered, you see your supervisor. Now, the background to the research problem. This would require discussion of how the problem has arisen, who views it as a problem, evidence of its existence, and then provide the context in which it occurs, and then who are the stakeholders. This will provide you with the background of your research problem. Then you move on to the purpose of the study. It is important to state what the research is designed to achieve, what it is intended to contribute to the state of knowledge in the discipline, and then what contributions it will make to, say, a group, a community, organization, or to society as a whole. Let us look at a few examples of objectives. Your objectives may be any of the following: to determine the rate of absenteeism among hospital staff, to identify what groups of hospital staff most frequently absent themselves from duty, to determine the effects of absenteeism on patient care and hospital management, to find out why absenteeism occurs, and all that. These are examples of research objectives. Research questions. Now pay attention here. When you have stated your objectives, you translate these objectives into research questions, and the questions must necessarily synchronize with the objectives. So with the first research objectives, we have this research question: what is the rate of absenteeism among hospital staff? And then with the second, what group of hospital staff most frequently absent from work officially? And then what effect does absenteeism have on patient care and hospital management? All these have been stated already as objectives, but what we are saying here is that sometimes it is necessary to have research questions to guide the conduct of research. In some jurisdictions, you can only have research objectives and that is all. For some, you are expected to craft the research questions as well. Now, when you have research questions and you have research objectives, you don't have hypothesis. You may have research questions, either research questions or research objectives, or hypothesis. In the absence of hypothesis, we have research questions and research objectives. Then the next logical step is to how to design your research, how the research is going to proceed. Now, this is the overall plan for obtaining answers to the questions that are guiding the conduct of the research. And then the design must also specify the various types of research approach to be adopted. What kind of research procedures are you going to adopt? For instance, what kind of instruments are you going to use to collect your data, and then how you are going to analyze your data. take note that the type of instrument you use to collect your data will determine the way you are going to analyze your data. In this regard, for instance, if you are using the interview to collect qualitative data, the ways we analyze qualitative data differ from the ways we analyze quantitative data. And so the design also will specify the population and sample size and then indicate how the data will be collected. You may refer back to the session on research design for more detail. And then also you craft your theoretical framework. Here you have to review the theories that are relevant to the topic under investigation, because as we have said early on, it is what the theoretical framework is what will underpin the study. And then your work will have some limitations which you have to identify and list them. Maybe you did not get much support by way of funding. Maybe you did not achieve 100% response rate. And then list all the difficulties you encountered which may have affected, your results in one way or the other. And then you come to the organization of your chapters, and then you list your references. So let us now here look at the general outline of a research report. What we looked at early on, or just finished looking at, is the research proposal. When you have conducted the research and you have analyzed the data, you need to present a report. And this is what we are going to look at. We are going to look at the outline of a typical research report. First, you have the abstract. If you take any normal thesis, go and take any thesis at all, you see that the first page, or about 2 or 3 pages, you see the abstract. There, the abstract is just a brief statement of the problem, the procedures, and the main findings of the research, and it normally does not exceed 200 words. And then you have also the title, which serves as part of the abstract and should be within a reasonable length, descriptive of the study. And then you have the acknowledgement, the table of content. You need table of content if the report is a fat one. And then you have list of tables, that is if they are needed. And then also list of figures. These are graphic illustrations other than tables. You come to the main text where the first item provides the introduction and statement of the problem with all the sub-items that you find there. And then you come to the section that also reviews your literature, and then the conceptual framework, and the section that also designs the study. Under the design of the study, some of the things we expect to be included are the population and your sample, the sources of relevant documents that you collected, and then data collection techniques, and then data analysis techniques. So the fifth item is the results. Here, depending upon the nature of the study, if it is a quantitative study, you will use descriptive statistics to analyze your data. So you may have inferential statistics, and then interpretation of the data and conclusion, limitation of the results, recommendations, if any. Now, if it is a qualitative study, as I've said, we have software that facilitates the analysis of qualitative data. And in that case, you don't need any inferential statistics whatsoever. And then we have what we call the back of the report. When you have summed up everything, the next thing to do is to acknowledge all the sources where you have borrowed ideas from. This is very important. So if all the books, the journals, primary sources, secondary sources that you have borrowed ideas from, it is important that you acknowledge the sources, and you do that in the references. And then also you provide bibliography if necessary. But once you have provided the reference, there's no need for bibliography. In fact, let me show you the difference between bibliography and references. Bibliographies will contain all the works that are relevant to your topic, but you may not have consulted some of them. So in fact, there is no need whatsoever to provide, or to cite sources that you have not actually used. But let me stress here that it is very, very important to cite every individual source that you have borrowed ideas from. You have to give credit to the sources. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for listening. Go through this lecture as I have always advised. Read the relevant portions of your handouts alongside the textbooks, and then try your hands on some of the questions I have provided. Thank you for listening. We shall meet again.